everybody. Just going live on, I will be ready to start in just a moment. Here we go. All right, we're live in Smoothie Shred, Facebook, and now Instagram. All right, we're doing it. Hi, it's Dr. Brooke Goldner from Goodbye Lupus, and it's Wednesday, so it's Wellness Wednesday. It's been Wellness Wednesday since early this morning, because this morning I was at Maggie Fleckno live. I usually go once a month on her live show as a physician to just come on Wellness Wednesday and teach her audience about different health conditions and empower her audience. But this was a special one. She had me on with Thomas so that we could celebrate our 20-year anniversary together of our marriage and of me becoming lupus free. So the phone call I got saying my labs were negative for lupus was a couple days before my wedding. And so it was really neat to get to celebrate that live on TV together. And Thomas was so awesome. She already said she wants us to come back on Valentine's Day to teach about healthy relationships. So that'll be really fun. I love when I can do something with him. I really do everything with him. It might seem like I'm solo, but I wouldn't be able to do this practice without him. I wouldn't be able to take care of all the people I take care of without him. There's just no way. He loves on people as if they're his wife, they're his family. And he helps me do things like my rapid recovery group, which without his help, I'd be able to help half the people. So I just love getting to bring him in front of the camera and let people see him, because I credit him with the fact that I'm alive today, alive and healthy for sure, because it was his research and it was his protocol that first healed me. And so it just made me so happy to bring him up in front of that camera today. I did post a little reel a few minutes ago that showed just a summary of us getting there today. And when the full interview is processed, I will put that up as well. But it was really, really nice. So yes, I'm in a good mood on that. Oh, thank you already for all the folks saying happy 20 years. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a fun day. What I was thinking to do today, since my online classes are up free this month, I was thinking of just dedicating this to Q&A today, rather than doing a coaching and Q&A. I want to see how many questions I can answer, especially questions that are specifically from people that I can see have been learning from me. Everybody's welcome here, by the way. If it's your first time seeing me, hello, welcome. Yes, I've been lupus free 20 years. And I help people reverse autoimmune diseases using lifestyle and nutrition, and have been so effective. And it's been the best thing in my life. And right now, celebrating being lupus free, my online classes, which have helped people all over the world say goodbye to different diseases from MS, multiple sclerosis, same thing, just saying it full name, Sjogren's, scleroderma, as well as metabolic diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, all these things. It has been remarkable how much it's helped people, and they're always available for lifetime access. But I always like to put them up for free to celebrate different things and encourage people to learn. And so right now they're there. So since they're there, and hopefully you all are learning the information, and if not, hopefully you head over there after this and learn the information, then I want to make sure that my questions are very targeted to what you are learning. So thank you, Manku Mama says, I'm so happy you've healed 20 years. Incredible. Without you, so many of us wouldn't be here. I appreciate it. It's the domino effect, right? That if I hadn't been sick, I wouldn't have been able to reverse my disease and get healthy. And then I wouldn't have been able to give that gift back to so many people. And as you wrote, hey, Dr. D, thank you for saving my life. Yeah, I had to be saved first, right? And stop being just one of those regular doctors and learn how to be one who actually helps people heal. And for all the people who've been saying for the past 20 years that it was just a remission, well, if it is, it's a darn good one. It is 100% one. I will take a 20-year remission. But then again, there's people who have been saying forever that Thomas and I were in the honeymoon phase, and our affectionate feelings for each other were going to wear off. And 20 years later, still loving on each other, still so happy to be together. So some things do stick, and it's always worth it. So, all right, let's see here today. And when they asked him today what the secret was, he said, the secret to all of this is following your heart. He's just a sweetie. So hopefully you guys will enjoy seeing that when it comes up. Let me go ahead and bring all of the questions forward here. All right, so let me start over here in our Smoothie Shred group. If you are on Facebook, Smoothie Shred's a free community where people support each other and share recipes and celebrate their wins, working on our programs, and it's such a beautiful place. We've had people from our most recent rapid recovery group already celebrating, one of them already ANA negative. You might have seen some videos already posted. Someone who is reversing eosinophilic fasciitis, which nobody could touch or help, and her pain went away, which was incredible. Someone else with thyroid, depression, arrhythmia disappearing. We have some more videos we'll be sharing. But if you want to be in that community, it's free, and it's if you go to smoothieshred.com, you'll see a link where you can follow to join our Facebook group. All right, Cece wants to know, does flaxseed oil used as a salad dressing eaten immediately count towards omega-3? Let me say it this way. Does it improve or increase your omega-3 levels? Yes. How much? I don't know. So as soon as the reason that if I'm working with someone in an aggressive program, I will make sure everything's dialed in. So for example, in our rapid recovery group, we are making sure everybody every single day is eating exactly what they need to eat in order to have a rapid reversal of disease. And so we are very, very on top of it. We want to make sure, for example, that all the omega-3 that you are taking out of that bottle is getting into your body. And so when you use it as a dressing, it tends to not be the case because one, yes, there's some oxidation that happens as it sits out, but two, most people aren't licking the bowl after they finish a salad. If you are, maybe it's counting more, but maybe you're getting some weird looks from your friends and family. So typically we count that as bonus omega-3 for that reason. All right. Diana says, I started sprouting. I really enjoy sprouts and salads for breakfast. I'm not sure if bean sprouts are allowed for the Goodbye Autoimmune protocol. I need to gain more muscle and they're a good source of protein. Thanks for all you do. So you don't need to, so are they part of the Goodbye Autoimmune protocol? No. Anything where you might be actually getting some beans into your system, beans are not part of the protocol. They've not been tested. I don't know if they will be effective or not. So you're taking a chance. If you enjoy sprouts and you want to try it and see if you get results, that's up to you. But when we are, coaching people through these programs, we never take a chance on untested things. We only do what's effective and what works. That is the most important thing. In terms of protein, if you need to gain muscle, you need to do strength training workouts. That's how you gain muscle. You can get all the protein you need from the cruciferous vegetables in terms of gaining strength. We know that because we've put professional athletes on our full Goodbye Autoimmune protocol, and they will need to eat more cruciferous than others because they're training for many hours a day. We had one Olympic level athlete training 5 hours a day, and she needed so much cruciferous vegetables, over 30 ounces a day. And then she had tons of energy. And at the end of 4 weeks, not only were all of her lab markers negative for lupus and no symptoms, but she also was beating her own personal records for strength and speed. So obviously, her muscles were being preserved and she was getting stronger. So if you're looking to get stronger and you actually need to do the full protocol because you're trying to reverse a disease, then do it perfectly. Do it exactly the way we teach it, and then do strength training for exercise. And if you need to increase your food intake because you feel like you're a bit weak at the gym, increase the cruciferous vegetables. That would be the way to do it. If you are already healthy, then it doesn't matter. You don't need to be on the Goodbye Autoimmune protocol, right? Then you could just do you can do hypernourishment on plant-based protocol and do strength training and eat other foods as desired for extra calories. All right, let's see. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, that's what we got going on here. Let's see. YouTube's always first. I don't know why, but when I use this streaming software, YouTube, it allows you to start writing questions in before it starts. And everywhere else, you don't get to see it until it starts. So YouTube always gets that little head start time. All right, let's see. AS says, hello, thanks for your time. Congrats on 20 years. Thank you. How much sleep do you get now healed? I pack the blender with greens, drop in fruit with green tasting. Can I add more fruit? Okay, 2 questions. I determine how much sleep somebody needs by how much they would get naturally when they don't set an alarm. So for me, now that I'm healthy, I naturally will get between 8 and 9 hours is usually what I will get naturally. And that's what I let myself have time for. When I was sick with lupus, if I didn't get 12 hours of sleep, I was dragging like somebody tied sandbags to me and was trying to get me to walk. So when I was sick, I needed a lot of sleep. And as a healthy person, usually 8 to 9 is what feels good to me. I can get by with less, but I gravitate toward my body wants more. And with exercise and everything else I do, it's just right. And I pack the blender with greens and drop in fruit. Can I add more fruit? Well, the goal is to get the greens in. So you can always put less greens in the blender to keep your fruit low and then just eat the rest of the greens in a salad. And that way you solve this problem without having to add more fruit. Okay. Carrie, got a celebration here. I'll share it with the group here. I love listening to your videos and I've learned so much. I've dropped my cholesterol 40 points. I'm so happy. I definitely am responding to smoothies and more raw foods. That is excellent. Congratulations, Carrie. I love that. And let me just say one more time. I always like to be able to get a little shot of that. Yay! All right, let's see here. All right. Soul Tides, love you, Dr. G. I've heard many plant-based doctors say sugars from natural sources like fruit is most important when targeting brain inflammation, more important than even omega-3s. I don't know what that is referring to. Sugar doesn't bring down inflammation, but sugar is the main source of energy that the brain uses. So maybe that's what you're thinking of. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. They literally are anti-inflammatory. They create the anti-inflammatory immune system. They're also necessary for rebuilding and repairing nerve cells because they are an essential part of the nerve cell lining. But they're not going to, so that's something else. Inflammation, brain inflammation, I'm not sure what you mean by that, because if your brain is inflamed, that is a serious issue. Is it inflamed from stroke? Is it inflamed for something else? But I can tell you that when it comes to reversing things like multiple sclerosis and helping people heal from strokes, our protocol works extraordinarily well without any fruit at all or with low fruit. So I think maybe they weren't saying it the way you were hearing it, or maybe they misspoke when they said that, because that doesn't even make sense scientifically. Okay, let me see here. And you do get, by the way, the glucose you need for your brain function on our program. People are actually always report that their brain fog goes away. I just got off the line with someone with Sjogren's, and since I saw her in her last appointment, brain fog completely gone. Her eyes make their own tears now, no more eye drops, and her saliva is over 50% back. And her doctor's appointment, her dentist appointment, he said, I don't know what happened, but all your gum pockets are normal now and I can't explain it. So these are all wonderful things that can happen when you are really taking care of yourself and reversing disease on the program. All right, let's see here. All right, let's see what we got from the Facebook side of things. Let me scroll to the Facebook. Here we go. Let's see. Mary, hi, Dr. G. I'm 58, about 10 years postmenopausal. I'm a few weeks back on the Goodbye Lupus protocols. I did 4 months not long ago. This week, I'm experiencing vertigo. I'm getting plenty of salt. I haven't taken iodine, although I ate dulse sporadically last time. I forgot about it this time. Had a handful yesterday, but still woozy today. Not on any meds or hormones. Doing GLP for psoriasis because I felt much better on it. When I finished 4 months last time, my blood work was excellent. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to share. I'm trying to see the rest. It ended. Let me see if I can read the rest of it if I just go to the Facebook page instead of this interface. So I'd love to be able to read the rest of your question. Nope, it's not letting me. All right, no, it's not letting me read the rest of it. So Mary, what I'd say is that I don't think that the vertigo is related to your diet. If you've done this for 4 months and you felt great and your labs were good and then that's already shown that you tolerate the protocol well, that it's not about that. So a lot of times when people have changed their diet, then anything they're feeling, they attribute to their diet, but it's not always the case. I mean, the most common reason for vertigo would be that you've got some kind of infection, or maybe you've got some infection or allergy that's causing some fluid in the ears. That's the most common reason people will have that. So I would go check that out. If you're not taking iodine, fix that. Make sure that you're doing that. But I would go to your doctor and let them know you have vertigo. Let them check your ears and let them see if maybe there's something you need to treat there, because it shouldn't be caused by what you're eating. Let's see. Jennifer, hi, Dr. G. Thank you so much for all your kind help and happy 20 years. Okay, I've been doing the protocol for 6 weeks. Good. I weigh 110 pounds. Do I do the same amount of hypernourishment smoothies? I do a pound of greens a day with 25% fruit. So it depends on what protocol you're doing. If you're trying to do hypernourishment, then yes, that would be a pound of greens a day, or other cruciferous vegetables a day, a handful of more flax or chia seeds, and 96 ounces or more of water would be hypernourishment. If you are trying to do the full Goodbye Lupus protocol, you're going to have to go up from there on the nutrition, because it's probably not going to be enough food for you. So you have to have other raw vegetables, fill in your stomach, increase the cruciferous vegetables up, probably going to get to 20 ounces or more of them. But yeah, the minimums I use are really for smaller people. People who are big should be doing a lot more. So just make sure that for all of you that you're not doing hypernourishment dosages and then not eating anything else. Remember, hypernourishment is to be added to your diet. So if you are eating no other food, then you're going to have to eat more of those vegetables so that you can fill yourself up and get enough food every day. Val, first time seeing you on live. Hi, Val, nice to see you. Hopefully eating your vegan protocol will help with this newly diagnosed sarcoidosis. Yes, and it's great when you can start right when you get a diagnosis instead of waiting till it's better. Oh, it's the best. I love it. I love it. Okay. Nancy, happy anniversary. What exercises or additional help would you recommend for my 70-year-old grandma dealing with osteoarthritis in both knees, bone on bone in her thumb and one of her knees? She's interested in the protocol. So once I get her going on that, what else could I do to prevent further osteoarthritis and decaying of joints? Okay, so really cool that she wants to bring the inflammation down. Even with people with osteoarthritis, I have found that they get dramatically better. They feel so much better. We had somebody in our Smoothie Shred group actually post x-rays showing that they had regrown some padding in their joints, which I've always assumed that wouldn't happen. I'm still getting impressed all the time with what can happen. We just assumed the inflammation coming down made the pain better, but maybe it is helping people provide more padding. That's pretty cool if it's happening. Might have to try to publish that one, actually, now that I think about it. So the protocol is a great idea. In terms of exercises, I would have her see a physical therapist. Physical therapists can really pinpoint what it is that's going wrong with her body and how to design exercises that will work for her. One thing I would add would be to make sure that she's doing foam release in her quadricep muscles. So tight quadriceps are the cause of many people's knee pain, even though they have osteo, even though they might have other arthritic conditions. What happens is the muscles in your thighs will try to stabilize the knee joint. So the way the muscle works is, you have your quadricep muscle comes down the thigh, and then the tendon goes over the knee. And so if your quadriceps are trying to stabilize your knee, they'll tighten up. But when that happens, it will also form what we call knots in the muscle. Tom says it's like spray glue that forms, that makes it kind of stuck. And if your quadriceps stay very stuck with all the knots in it, then that tightness will yank on the knee. And so for a lot of folks, they think that it's just arthritis, either osteo or otherwise, but when we loosen it up with daily foam rolling, they find that their knees actually feel really good. So that would be whatever I would add to the exercises that I think a physical therapist, 70 years old, arthritis everywhere, and have a physical therapist actually examine her and design a workout for her. That would be the best way to go. All right. All right. This is, we got another amazing celebration. I love when you all come on and celebrate together, because everybody needs good news, right? I mean, look at this right here and tell me, like, in the world today, we need as much good news as possible. Celebrate everything good, please. This says, Dear Dr. G, I've been on the protocol for 7 weeks. My cholesterol and LPA both dropped into normal range for the first time ever. And even having been on a vegan diet for 10 years. My GP is shocked and researching into it and was appalled and delighted at the same time. Also, I can now eat all the vinegars and fruits without blisters breaking out in my mouth. Astounding. This is what I love to see. This is the body's ability to heal itself, right? And a lot of times people will be so scared because in my protocol, I allow them to eat fats like avocados as much as they want, and flax and chia seeds, for example. And they'll say, I'm on a low-fat plant-based diet, and those fats will raise my cholesterol. And I just say, no, they won't. They'll help your cholesterol. So thank you so much, Barb, for sharing that so people can see that as well. Okay. Val wants to know what the initial stand for when people refer to your programs. So if you join, so Val, you're on Facebook. If you go to our Smoothie Shred group, so Smoothie Shred, the way people will see it, it's Facebook.com/group/Smoothie Shred. It's called Smoothie Shred by Dr. Brooke Goldner and Thomas Tadlock. If you go to smoothieshred.com, there's a direct link. In Smoothie Shred, we try to keep things as updated as possible for our community who's really trying to follow and enjoy it. And so in the guides, which is the learning area of the Facebook group, Thomas, my husband, who created this free community, he summarized the different protocols and gave them initials just to make it easier. So hypernourishment is what you add to your diet to try to accelerate your metabolism and cellular repair. So that would be HN. GLP is the Goodbye Lupus protocol, which is really looking at diet alone to reverse disease, using the 6 steps to reversing disease with supermarket foods. That's in Goodbye Lupus, my book, and also in the online classes that are free right now. The Goodbye Autoimmune Disease program, so GAIDP, that one it refers to my book, Goodbye Autoimmune Disease, in which I teach not only is nutrition important, but for most people, there's other parts that they need as well, which is the emotional part, self-care, dealing with trauma and anxiety, depression, sleep, all the other lifestyle components that we have found be necessary to help people rapidly reverse their diseases in our programs. So that's what the initials refer to. All right, and let's see, Instagram. I'm not neglecting Instagram here. Let me see here. Porter post, I love Wellness Wednesday. Yay! Thank you, I'm so glad. Hi, Randy from New York. Hi, Grateful Archa. Diana says, happy Wellness Wednesday. Thank you, happy back. All right. Aw, Grateful Archa says, hands down, you're the best, Dr. G. We love you and adore you, Godsend. Thank you. You guys give me so much love. All right, here we go. Here's a question. The chronotope. Hello, Dr. G. Happy 20 years. Have you had clients reverse pernicious anemia on Goodbye Autoimmune Protocol? Thanks for all you do. Pernicious anemia requires that you have to take B12 to reverse it. So pernicious anemia specifically is a type of anemia caused by devastatingly low B12 levels. That's not going to be fixed by my nutrition protocol. That's going to be fixed by getting the B12 in the form you need it. Usually you need injected B12 shots to keep it up when you've had pernicious anemia. Now, if there was an inflammatory cause of the illness, of the anemia, that's causing you not to absorb your B12 properly, potentially it could, but usually the cure for pernicious anemia is B12. Okay, let's see. All right, Colette, is it recommended for seniors to get a flu shot? In general medicine, yes, that is a recommendation. Seniors often have lower immune systems. They're often in doctor's offices a lot, being exposed to other stuff. And so generally it is recommended. I already know all the folks who don't like vaccines will get mad at me for that, but I'm just speaking from medical recommendations that have been established, that is considered to be safe for seniors. Oh, I don't know how to say your name. Cornetas Vizdana. I'm so sorry. I'm butchering that. I have thrombocytopenia. Help please, systemic lupus, my diagnosis. Good news is my nutrition protocol has been effective for both of those. So Cornetza, if you haven't watched my online classes, I recommend that you do it. In our rapid recovery group, every person we've had so far with thrombocytopenia that I can think of right now reversed it back to normal levels. So I do recommend that you go all in on it. And these are people who have tried other plant-based and other programs. So, and of course for lupus, yeah. Let's see. Thanks, YJG. I hope your friend tries it as well. And Crowdime says, P.S. I make it a point to watch your classes every time they're free. Good pep talks to keep me in hypernourishment. I always come away understanding things more deeply. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah, a lot of the times the people who get the lifetime access already watch the classes a bunch of times and just want to have them available to themselves whenever they want them. That's how much they've been helpful for people. So if you haven't watched them for free, make sure you do it. Jen Strout, 7, class 5 lupus nephritis. Is it okay to work out? I just started hypernourishing, giving up animal products. Yes, exercise is a great idea for you. Be careful though, because if you've got class 5, I don't know what your kidney function is. So if you are allowed to eat anything you want, that's fantastic. Go for it. Do the full Goodbye Autoimmune Protocol. If you've been told that you need to be on a low potassium diet or you need water restriction, then we're going to make some adjustments for you to make sure that it is the right amount of nutrition for your kidney function. So if you have normal GFR, normal creatinine, your potassium, sodium levels, everything look normal, you can go all in. But if you need it adjusted for potassium or other things, then at minimum, choose all the low potassium choices to the best of your ability yourself, and then follow up with me so that I can make sure you got it right. Okay, let's see here. Oh, Diana Bananas. So you're everywhere, Diana. So I see you on the YouTube, I see you on Instagram. Says, you changed my life, you and Thomas both. Getting ripped with muscle again. Love his book too. Yes, his book is awesome. Miracle Metabolism. It helps you get ripped and strong at any age, plant-based and hyper-nourishing. All right, let's see. Jazzreen says, hi, Dr. G. I have a 6-month-old baby and my doctor keeps pushing for packaged iron-fortified cereal. Are they necessary? Trying to raise a plant-based baby and curious if you can speak to what to feed. I did not do that. The number one cause of iron deficiency that's been studied, and I've seen it myself in babies, is actually dairy. Once kids move over from breast milk to dairy milk, that's when their iron stores go down. And so then the doctors just try to fix that by just giving them iron supplements or fortified iron things, and it didn't need to happen. So if you have a 6-month-old, the way I did it is I started them out on raw foods. So green smoothies and avocado, banana. I blended up every kind of vegetable and fruit with my Vitamix and turned it into baby food. If it wasn't a good blender, then I mixed it with breast milk and then blended it up. And then once you could eat more solids, then we moved into things like tofu for finger foods. But yeah, I never gave them the processed cereal. I just didn't want to start them off on processed foods. I wanted them to have real food. So that's the way I did it. Tracy, how do I get to do your protocol? So if you're brand new, best thing you can do is go to goodbyelupus.com and watch the free classes, or you can, I have books, Goodbye Lupus, I wrote it all out, Goodbye Autoimmune Disease. But if you want to just start learning and you don't mind listening to my voice, then the classes would be a great way to go, and it's totally free. So that'd be a great place to start. Okay. And Lorene, where do I find this community? So it's on Facebook. So that question is from Instagram. So if you're on Facebook, that's where our free community is, Smoothie Shred. Thank you for the happy anniversary, Mission Hearts. Okay, let's go back over to Smoothie Shred. All right, let's see. Okay, so Marianne says, hi, Dr. G. I received Thomas's thumbs up. Thank you. And love to you and your family for all you do. I joined a semi-private gym, coaches who have several certifications. What's the difference between a physical therapist and a fitness certified coach? Okay, so a physical therapist has got an advanced degree in physical therapy. They went to school and they've gone through getting a master's and often a PhD to be trained in giving people with injuries and issues, health conditions, proper fitness programs. A fitness trainer at the gym, there's a wide variety of how qualified they can be. So there are certifications that you can get literally with an online quiz. 30 minutes later, you have a fitness certification. And then there's fitness certifications, for example, like NASM, National Association of Sports Medicine. It's one of the ones my husband has when he has a lot of them. That one is almost like a physical therapy program. They have to really understand the way the muscles work, the physiology and biology behind it. They have to prove their results with cases that they actually take through exercise programs. So they are better able to deal with people with injuries, for example. So my husband, back when we were in Pittsburgh, he used to work at the hospital to do rehab with patients who were getting ready for surgeries. So you want to really ask them what the certification is. I like physical therapy and NASM for people who really have injuries. If you don't have any injuries and you're just trying to learn how to work out, then someone who can walk you through the gym, show you how to use the machines and create workouts for you might be enough. It's just that a lot of folks I see who are either older or have injuries, they end up getting hurt at the gym because someone put them on a workout routine that was too aggressive for what they could actually handle. So, you just have to make sure you get the level of help that you need. Okay. Okay. And let's see. Nancy, I've registered but haven't gotten any protocol yet. I'm not sure what you registered for. If you're talking to the online classes, as soon as you click into the classes, It asks you when you want to watch them, and you could just watch the replay, and you can watch it immediately. So I'm not sure what's going on there. If you're talking about Smoothie Shred, then you just haven't gone to the guides yet. In the guides section of Smoothie Shred, it has all that info. Rhonda read somebody who said that toxic chemicals all around you can fuel cancer risks, pesticides, plastics, and even foods like soy and flax with compounds that act like estrogen that are endocrine disruptors, and it's scaring her. Are you sure this won't hurt us? Yes, I'm sure. How am I sure? Because unlike this person who has theories that they are giving you, I have results in thousands of people who have been using things like flax seeds, and their tumors go away, their diseases go away. So it's just not true. Is it true that there are carcinogens all around us? Yes, that is true. And it's probably gotten a lot worse. I mean, there's plastic in the water supply. There's pollution everywhere. That is true. But what I have also seen to be true is that when people do our protocols, their bodies are able to fight back. And I think that that's the most important thing, is that the nourishment counteracts whatever else is going on there and gives the body what it needs to repair itself. There's been studies, for example, that looked at pesticides and showed that the benefits people get from eating vegetables, even if there's pesticides in it, that those benefits are still received, even if there was pesticides, and the risk of pesticides were so low that it meant that the benefits you got still outweighed any potential risk. You look at T. Colin Campbell's research, where he was giving carcinogens to rats, and then he just changed their diets to one that's high in milk protein and one that's not. And what he found is only the rats that were given the high amount of milk protein grew tumors, and not the other one. And then when he switched their diets, the ones that had tumors, the tumors stopped growing. And the ones that started having the milk, they started growing the tumors. And so what he found was, it's not the carcinogen alone that causes a problem, but there has to be something that turns that gene for cancer on. And what he found is specifically dairy turns on cancer genes at the promoter level of the DNA. It basically tells that DNA to start reproducing itself. So the best thing you can do if you are afraid of cancer is to eat in the way we teach you, so that you can keep yourself well. But we've had people with tumors who've had their tumors shrink and disappear in rapid recovery. So obviously what this person is theorizing is possible is not the case. And it has been long proven that phytoestrogens in soy and flax do not disrupt your endocrine system, they are not acting as hormones in the system. They actually are protective against things like breast cancer, for example. So, you can always find people out there that are going to try to give you theories and ideas that would raise alarm and scare you off of doing things that might be good for you. And that's why I always recommend you follow the results and not people's theories and ideas, because that is where the true information is. And I know, as someone who was sick for so much of my life, as well as a doctor and just a human who's trying to help people do better, the most ethical thing I believe I can ever do is only share results. And that's why you will hear me all the time say, I don't know. When someone asks me, will this help something that I have not helped somebody with? I will say, I don't know, because that is ethical to me and honest. But when people start spouting ideas where, if this man has not actually witnessed those foods creating cancer, then he's doing something unethical. That's how I roll. So just look at results, and then you'll find your path, not just with nutrition, but in life. If you're going to take money advice from someone, make sure they're millionaires or higher, right? If you're going to take advice on how to run, that should be a runner, right? So just make sure that you pursue results. And if you always look at results, you're going to be the safest. If you look at theories, you're going to be in a constant state of panic. It's from my experience. Okay, let's see. All right, let's see. Joanna, hello, Dr. G. Love you and appreciate your help. My 17-year-old daughter is on step down after the protocol, and she's doing great. Yay! I'm so glad. She's going to the gym, trying to lose some weight and gain muscle after having been on prednisone for a few years. I'd like your opinion on creatine supplement. Creatine supplements are generally healthy. They have been shown recently there's been some cool studies out there that shows that they can improve energy and cognition. So especially in older folks and plant-based folks, other people. So I think if you want to try it, they're generally safe. I don't have a set brand or anything right now. If Thomas was here, I would ask him because he would. But yeah, it could be helpful. When it comes to muscle building, there is a max benefit. There are some folks that just make enough creatine on their own. And so when they take the supplement, nothing happens. And then there's other folks who actually could benefit from more creatine for muscle building, and they'll see the difference, and you won't know until you try it. All right, and Andrea or Andrea, depending where you're from. Dr. Brooke, I struggle with the protocol. I need help with a meal plan because I'm not eating enough. Do you provide a day 2 meal plan? If I was meeting with you, then yes, I could look at what you're eating and help you find ways to structure those meals in a better way. The way people do it is so different from person to person. That's why I like personalized appointments with people, or even in rapid recovery, we watch how people do it. And even if people are supposed to be eating the same amounts of food, they will do it in totally different ways, depending on what their stomach likes, right? So if you know you're not eating enough, you might have to, one, push through fullness, right? Maybe you're one of those people. I've always admired people who just, like my mom, she could just eat and be satisfied and stop eating. I need to be full to stop eating. I need to feel like my belly hit my button of my jeans in order for me to know that I'm supposed to stop anytime soon. Sometimes I still don't stop. I just go with low rise if I want to eat more. I mean, but if you're not used to this, you might feel a bit bloated, or you might not feel like eating, and you should anyway. One of the things that can help is to split up your meals. So instead of maybe 2 or 3 big meals, you have like 6 smaller meals, and you space them out every couple hours. Usually that will do the trick in terms of what foods to eat. If you don't have Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious, my recipe book, I recommend you get that and find the things that entice you. Maybe you don't feel like having more smoothie, but you wouldn't mind that cruciferous lasagna or the sushi rice recipe or something else that really, gets your mouth engaged and your taste buds wanting more. But without knowing you, I wouldn't know how to plan your specific meal plan, but hopefully that helps. All right, let's see here. All right, let's back over to YouTube. Let's see here. The more you know, what are your thoughts on supplementing when on protocol? I know you're okay with B12 and D, but what about magnesium and selenium? Generally, what people need is B12, D, and iodine. Those are things people 100% need in some way or form. Iodine can be supplemented with a supplement, or could be an iodized salt. Selenium is in things like chia seeds, but if you are, if you have a thyroid issue and you want to add a selenium supplement, you can totally do that. Magnesium, I don't usually supplement unless the person's constipated or looking for a natural sleep remedy, because it is a laxative. So I generally don't just across the board give people that. Kyle says, I had my girlfriend watch your free classes, and she's willing to try hypernourishment vegan diet because it's important to me. And she says she may never eat dairy again after your pus talk. It's a real deal. I can never eat dairy again because of the pus. It is gross. To her, food is more than nutrition. It's a bond between people. I think that's true for most of us. Yeah. She loves entertaining and taking care of people through food. Any advice, books, or resources showing how this lifestyle can still coincide with delicious food, get-togethers? I have Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious, but what about maintenance meal books and delicious recipes? The great thing about living the plant-based life is that there are endless resources. So one thing that people who are plant-based love to do more than tell you about it is blog about it. So if you are eating cooked plant-based foods, there's just endless resources available out there for people. There's like I talk to Chef AJ regularly. I know she has recipe books out there. There's so many other plant-based chefs. Honestly, when I want to make something cooked, if I have a craving, I just Google plant-based, oil-free, and then the name of the thing I feel like eating. And then boom, there's just recipes. So I'm not a recipe book person because I don't know what I'm going to want to eat until I feel like it. Although nowadays I just kind of go into the pantry and the fridge and I create something. And Solomon always says the best meals are the ones I make up as I go. But yeah, there's just so much out there. So if she's feeling like, oh man, I really want to make a shepherd's pie or something, oh my gosh, it's so easy to do. And you can Google it and then just adjust the ingredients. So the cooked food is actually the easy part. The recipe book I really wanted to have for people to find ways to have hypernourishment and be on protocol for disease reversal using the raw foods and enjoy it, right? So I have not found that it has decreased my ability to be social at all, at all. I mean, even when we used to live outside of Austin and we had a plant-based Friendsgiving, I guess you would say, and we invited all of our friends and our neighbors, and we just let them know it's 100% plant-based. So if you need help with something to bring, let me know. You could always just bring some fruit or something. But everything's been plant-based, and everybody came, including our neighbors that like our brisket barbecue people, because they were also really interested. Like they wanted to try everything. So they came over ready to go. I don't remember what they brought, but they came over ready to go. I think they brought like guacamole or something, and they were trying everything. So I think that people are interested and excited about it. They want to know more. And you can really just have fun with it. You can invite people over for a raw vegan party. Say, hey, I have a, come up with a recipe or ask me, or if you want to, just bring a veggie platter or fruit platter. People are interested in trying different things. And I think it's another way to bond with people over food. All right, let's see. Summer, if flax oil is oxidized, can it cause weight gain? No, it shouldn't cause weight gain. It's just not going to give you the full amount of omega-3 that you would have gotten if you got right off the spoon or right into a smoothie where it was protected from the air. Summer also said, if I'm eating all raw, no fruit, a lot of flaxseed, and only adding tofu as an addition, and I'm eating about 5,000 calories a day, will it cause me to gain weight? If you're doing no fruit and it's all vegetables and flax and tofu, I do not expect you to gain weight. And tofu doesn't need to be eliminated for weight loss. You're trying to get rid of cellulite. So that's just going to be fat loss. You're going to have to keep doing fat loss until you don't. Because cellulite is the way the fat is pressing through the connective tissue. So as fat goes down, then cellulite is going to get better. Flaxseed's not going to cause that or anything else. That's just going to be working on fat loss. So I actually recommend you use Thomas's book. It is right there above my YouTube plaque, the Miracle Metabolism one. Miracle Metabolism, Thomas Tadlock. He actually tells you how to make sure you have the right exercise matched up with the right diet to accelerate fat loss versus create muscle building. So that's definitely the way you want to go. And if you go to smoothieshred.com, he also has free resources and exercises and things like that, like exercise videos that you can look at. Okay. All right. Let's see. Kim, can Goodbye Lupus protocol reverse peripheral artery disease? Absolutely, and you're welcome. Let's see. Jala, how can I raise a plant-based toddler where my husband doesn't agree? Is there a way to compromise that's not putting our long-term health at risk with an okay amount of meat and dairy? Oof, this is an issue about communication. So it's one thing if you both have opinions, right? But I think what's necessary is you two should be reading the same resources so that you can come to a decision together about what's best for your child. What I'd say is no amount of dairy is safe, and meat, not far behind it. Dairy's worse than meat, believe it or not. But is there a safe amount? I don't know, because that's going to be very dependent on the person. I don't know if you've had autoimmune. I have never given that to my children. But, when I first had Solomon, Thomas was still eating some meat at the time. And we had the conversation, but he was able to say, listen, I know that you're right. I know this is healthier. I watched you get healed of a disease. I need to figure this out for me. Because at the time he didn't know if he could keep his muscle and be plant-based. He thought that, and at the time his entire career was based as a fitness person. He was known for this. And so he thought that he would have to become a skinny vegan and change his whole career. So we just had an agreement that even if he was still eating meat, that our kids never would. And then, of course, like within the year, he gave it up completely. And then he figured out you could build up twice as much muscle on half the protein on a plant-based diet versus a meat-based diet, and it changed everything. That led to his book, Miracle Metabolism. So you have to have the discussion. A lot of times when I see people are having this argument, the person who is pro plant-based has been doing all the research. They're watching the documentaries, they're reading the studies, they're going to the classes, they've read all my books, and they are so prepared with knowledge. And the person who's against it hasn't done any of the research, but just has an opinion. And I think in those scenarios, you have to confront that and say, hey, listen, I've done all this work to learn this because it's so important to me to raise our kids healthy. And I feel like you're shutting me down without even being willing to consider it. So I think that if I'm the only one doing the research, I should get to decide how to eat. But what would be better is if you'd be willing to learn with me so we can make these decisions together. And that's how I do it. You know, if there's an area where one person is more experienced and knowledgeable than the other, then that's the person who should be taking over that decision. We do that even in our marriage. My husband is the businessman. He understands investments and all that stuff. He runs everything by me. But I lean on him because I know he's done the research and it's important to him. Like, he knows how to do all those things. That's not me. But you know, when it comes to anything medical or, you know, anything like that, he's going to, or emotional even, or kids related, he leans back my way, but we discuss everything. We make all those decisions together, but we lean on the person who has more information or study or expertise in that area. So I think that's the discussion you have to have, because I can promise you, if you have a toddler, there's going to be many more things that you two might not agree on over the years. And that toddler is going to turn into a kid and into a teenager that's going to have more things that can cause stress and all of that. And you have to learn how to be on the same team. That's so important as parents. You've got to be on the same team. So this is going to be a discussion. And I gave that a little more time because I think that's something that a lot of people go through. We don't ever fight opinions with information. Right? We have to say, are you willing to let go of an opinion to get information, and then we can do this together? Or if you're not willing to get the information, will you let go of the reins and let me lead because I'm the one that's willing to do the work and learn it? Okay. All right. Inspiration, motivation, faith. Please explain the importance of B12. There's a raw influencer giving false information saying it's a made-up vitamin. Please, Doc. Thanks. Much love always. Yes, absolutely. So B12 is a necessary vitamin, one, for us to make the amount of red blood cells we need and bring oxygen to our cells. Two, it's necessary for our nervous system to function properly. And B12 deficiency is a serious illness. It can be really life-threatening, and it can cause severe damage to the nervous system, neuropathies, severe anemia, pernicious anemia as it came up. It's a real problem, and it should not be ignored. B12 is actually produced by bacteria that live in fecal matter, so in poop. And so the reason why plant-based people tend to have to supplement more than meat-based, although I've met plenty of people who eat meat that also have low B12, but the reason why meat eaters tend to have higher B12 levels is because all meat that you eat, all of it, is actually contaminated with fecal matter. I've done videos about this, just showing study after study after study by the FDA, who examines it, and they allow a certain amount of fecal matter is allowed on meat and still allowed to pass. It's why people can get like E. coli and salmonella and all these problems that people get from, you know, undercooked meat and all that, is because there's so much contamination from fecal matter, from poop. But there's B12 in it too. So normally a plant eater would get B12 because when you walk through the forest, like in our old days when we were out there instead of all in our offices and chairs, and that animals would fertilize the fruits and vegetables, right? They'd walk by, they eat some, and then they would take a poop right there. And then we'd pick up that fruit or vegetable, wipe it off a little bit, and then eat it, right? And we get that little microscopic amount of poop and that little microscopic amount of B12. Well, nowadays, humans are pretty averse to this. And so we now have all of our produce is triple washed, so clean. And then we take it home and we soak it and clean it some more. And so we've removed the B12 from it, which is probably a good idea, because you don't want to have too much fecal matter in your system because of the aforementioned infections people get. You know, when there's E. coli in spinach from a factory farm runoff of manure, we get sick because of the manure. So that is where the lower B12 levels have come from. And again, there are some people who eat animal products that still have low B12. Maybe they're better at cleaning their produce is what I can think of. Not produce, I'm sorry. They're better at cleaning their meat. So maybe if they really clean it well, that's what happens. But you must get sufficient B12. And so what I recommend is that everybody get their amount tested, or at minimum, take a supplement, a B12 supplement. About 2,000 is usually the right amount per week for people who have normal amount, or per day for people who are lower. But I have definitely seen people very sick from pernicious anemia, very sick, as well as people very sick from neuropathies. I had somebody who joined my rapid recovery group who had she thought she had MS or some other kind of nervous system disease, and she had this terrible vibration nerve shock thing going through her body, and nothing would touch it nutrition-wise. We got that lab test done, and it was B12 deficiency. That's what was causing this. So I hope that makes you happy, Diana. That is my information on it, and it's a real problem. It scares me to hear people say otherwise. Same with vitamin D, which is really a hormone. I've seen people who otherwise give good information about food and say that you shouldn't supplement D. If you don't have enough D in your body, your immune system doesn't work properly. It's a necessary hormone for immune function. And I had somebody who relapsed on their autoimmune antibodies after many, many years. And I looked at their diet. They were doing maintenance beautifully. The only abnormal test besides the antibodies was the vitamin D was very low. It was like 17 or 18. We fixed the vitamin D without going back to the full protocol, just the D alone, and the antibodies disappeared. So then I had to go and research it. And sure enough, there has been a direct correlation shown that people with low vitamin D are more likely to have higher autoimmune antibodies. Really interesting. But I saw the result and then found that, yes, that's something that's been seen. So anything that I recommend you take is because I personally have witnessed a problem in at least one or more people who have not taken it. And that's why I have this short list of vitamins I recommend that I didn't know about even when I first started this, because I was so focused on the food. But having had experience with thousands of people over the years, I've been able to see what happens, what can go wrong, and then make sure that I plug that hole, right? So as soon as I know that information, then I can say something about it and go, okay, now I know this information. So yeah, that is very important. If I recommend it, it's because it's important. Unfortunately, to be able to say stuff online, you don't have to show any qualifications. And that's difficult, right? That's difficult to know who to trust about things. And it's also why I do all this for free. So you know that there's nothing else I'm trying to do besides give information based off of what I know is good for people. All right. Let's see. And then FBS 191, doctors mentioned I have dry eyes and over-the-counter drops, but they never explained what caused it and what to do. Should I be concerned to get an early Sjogren's test? Does it have to do with fasting nutrition? So I don't know what the cause is. You can have dry eyes from seasonal allergies, right? You can be dehydrated and not having enough water, or it could be something like autoimmune. If it is something significant, then I would, why not get a test and find out? It doesn't have to stop you from hypernourishment, right? Make sure that you're getting omega-3s have been shown to be extremely beneficial for dry eyes and Sjogren's. And it's already been part of our program for a long time. So hypernourishment would be the best way to go with the water, omega-3s, and raw vegetables. And then if it's not feeling better or you want to, you can always get those tests done as well. All right, let's see here. Let's go down to the Facebook area. Jennifer, after 6 weeks of doing the protocol, when can I safely add Ezekiel bread and chemo? Should I wait 6 months? So you don't do the protocol for 6 weeks. You do the protocol until you get the results. And some people that'll be a week, and some people 2 weeks, some people 4 weeks, some people 6 weeks, some people 2 months or 3 months. I mean, you do it until you get the result. Once you get the result, then you can start adding one thing back at a time, including things like Ezekiel bread or quinoa. All right, let me see. All right, let's see here. Let's see, I'm looking. Gendria, does asparagus count as hypernourishing veggie, or is it just cruciferous spinach and chard? So High nutrient vegetables will be spinach and chard and cruciferous. Asparagus is great if you're asking about it, because I have that asparagus pesto in my book, which is so good. If you have not had the asparagus pesto, that is so addictive. I brought it on a TV show, and the newscaster, she went to commercial. She tried it. She went to commercial. She took the whole rest of it into her own container and then handed me back the empty plate. Super good. So that would be an additional food, or you can use that to put on top of your salad that has other cruciferous if you want to use it. That pesto sauce is super good. Let me see here. Louisa wants to know, what's the problem with artificial sugars like erythritol? They're inflammatory and they make people sicker. And they've shown that it makes things like diabetes worse. These artificial sugars are not good for you. Same with the xylitol, and even looking at other sugar like Splenda, even stevia was shown to make people sicker. And maybe if it was a leaf off a stevia plant, it'd be different than the processed stuff people get. But the artificial stuff's worse than actual sugar. And let me see. Gendria is asking about this. Can xylitol hurt your health if you only swish it after meals for a few minutes, but you're not eating it? I don't know. If you're just swishing it and spitting it out, it's probably going to be safer. I don't know how much of it you absorb that way. So I don't know is the answer. I like things like throat coat tea. You can swish it around your mouth and drink it, and it's nice and soothing. It has like black licorice and stuff in there. Very soothing and doesn't have any sugars at all. All right, Harmony says, I suffered 2 rare spinal strokes last year and I'm paralyzed from the chest down. I'm so sorry, Harmony. I'm very interested to hear about information linking lupus to strokes. So there's definitely a link. There's 2 different ways it could be linked. Number 1 is people with lupus are more likely to develop other autoimmune issues like anti-cardiolipin or antiphospholipid antibody syndrome. That's what I had. So antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, your immune system starts creating antibodies that cause blood clots. And so I had multiple mini strokes before they found it and put me on injectable blood thinners. And I was one of the lucky ones that I didn't have permanent damage. But for some folks, they don't find out about it until they have more severe strokes like you have. So that would be a blood test to look for antiphospholipid antibodies. The other reason is that even people with lupus have high rates of cardiovascular disease. And the number 1 cause of death, even with lupus, is still heart attack. So it is possible you also have cardiovascular disease. But these rare spinal strokes, as well as having lupus, I'd be looking into making sure whether or not you have antiphospholipid antibody syndrome. You would have to be put on blood thinners, but not just myself, but I've had many, many clients who quickly reversed antiphospholipid antibody syndrome in addition to lupus. It may not give you back what you lost, but it can stop you from getting sicker. And with physical therapy, perhaps with time, you can get back some of what you lost. I hope so. I really hope so, Harmony. All right. Val, make sure you watch my classes, and then you'll learn about why you should not eat certain things and should eat certain things. Just saying, I don't know why I should not recommend it. It makes people sicker. I have had people who relapsed on just fish after healing my program, and boom, kidney function fell and antibodies went up and inflammation came back. It is, they have great marketing, but they are not healthy foods. That is definitely not. Okay, and let me see. All right, on Instagram, Lava Wave says, can coronary artery disease be reversed? Yes, absolutely. This is one of the best things you can do. A hypernourishing plant-based diet is so good for the heart. Absolutely. Is avocado oil okay to use? I would not be using cooking oils of any kind. If you are still cooking food, use, I like to cook with vegetable broth instead of oil. That's great. Even water. And again, bloggers, they've got it. If you want to learn how to saute and everything without oil, there's plenty of bloggers out there that'll show you how to do it on their channels. And yeah, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend that you add those things. Mary, so hello, is your protocol good for perimenopause, menopausal women? Yes. You're looking at a perimenopausal woman, and I don't have symptoms, and it's really awesome. And most of the other women I know my age it's a big topic in my fitness class, because it's mostly women who are middle-aged and retired, and maybe a couple of youngins. But this is a big topic, is they're all on hormones, and they'll tell me you have to take them. Like I almost, but there were some funny ones, like they're the only way that I could even like my husband or have him like me is if I take them. All sorts of different symptoms they were trying to treat, but I haven't had those symptoms. And a lot of my clients will tell me this is the first time they have not had hot flashes. This is the first time they've had any regularity to their periods. People who are still menstruating normally. It's a really good thing that you can do. Okay, and Yabralam, I really want to lose weight. Awesome. So when it comes to weight loss, it is diet and exercise. Most people just want to focus on food, but the way you really burn off the fat is through exercise. And so again, my husband's book is the book of the day. Miracle Metabolism is a great way to go if you want to learn that, because one of the things that people make mistakes about is they will eat a fat loss diet, but then be doing bodybuilding and not getting quite results, or they'll be eating a bodybuilding diet, but then doing fat loss exercise and wonder why they're not making the muscle they want. And so Thomas goes through all the science and shows you how to build the right diet and exercise program to get the results that you want. So, but exercise is important. You can always start with our smoothie shred. That's free. SmoothieShred.com. There's videos and instructions on, and Smoothie Shred started as a way to shred fat, but then people realized that I was in there too, and then they came in to start shredding inflammation as well. But in Smoothie Shred, he has you just start with like adding the hypernourishment and doubling whatever you're doing for your fitness, whether it's doubling your steps or doubling the time or intensity of your workout, and just start there. Let's see here. Jess, is there a specific supplement you recommend for cholesterol? Nope, nothing outside of what I'm teaching for health and disease reversal. All right, let's see. Nila, could it happen that you do everything in the protocol, but you don't heal? Anything's possible. But when someone asks a question like that, I'm always concerned by where their mind is at. Are you looking for reasons not to try it, for example? Are you always thinking of the worst case scenario? What's most important is it's possible that if you fully do this, that you can get your health back and your life back. In fact, one thing, if you keep, oh, Neela says you're in the rapid recovery group. Oh, good. Yeah, then you're going to find out really soon. The one thing that you know by coming to these Wellness Wednesdays and seeing other people post, and even what you'll see in the rapid recovery group, is that it does work. One of my favorite things about the rapid recovery group is that the entire group meets on Zoom every week, and you see people healing in real time. And so there is no more doubt that you can have in your mind, that your brain can come up with all the fears of like, what if I don't heal? What if I don't get better? But then you're watching the rest of the group where someone's like, check this out, I can make a fist. And then the next person's like, yeah, I lost my ring in the car because my swelling went down so much, my ring fell off. This is from the last group. Someone was like, look, I can stand up out of my wheelchair, and look at me, I'm able to stand and do squats now, and I couldn't do that before. And all these different things, you're watching it in real time and seeing how powerful it is. And it's the best. It's the best because your anxious mind can say everything at once, but the results are right there. So you're going to love it. It's going to be so great. So I'm glad you're going to be in the group so that we can just see what happens instead. All right, all of you. I did a full hour for the Q&A. I hope that helped you. If you are not up to date on all the things that I teach, learn it for free. You don't need to buy a book. You don't need to even go to the library. You can go online and learn the entire Goodbye Lupus protocol for free at goodbyelupus.com. I don't hold anything back on it. And people from all over the world use those classes alone just to heal themselves. And if I'm lucky, I get a message that says, hey, I use your classes. Check out my MRI. And my MS shows my most recent lesion's not there. Hey, check this out. I just wanted you to know that my cholesterol's gone, or I'm able to ride my bike again, all these things. And these are people I've never met. So why not just get the information and let yourself learn it and let yourself try it? And then you can come back on Wednesdays and ask me questions, and you could do the whole thing for free. And it would make me exceedingly happy if you did that. If you need my help, you can always get it. I mean, this is my life, is helping people get their health back. If you want my help, you go to goodbyelupus.com, click on Work with Dr. G. I'll do whatever I can to help you. But if you can do it for free, then you can, save your money and go on a trip somewhere to celebrate it, right? So I want everybody who can possibly heal from the free information to do so. And anyone who wants or needs my help for the emotional healing, for the physical healing, for the nutrition, for anything, that's what I'm here for. And that's what I love to do. So hopefully you'll all watch it, have a watch party, share it with your friends, come back next week, and we'll keep learning together, keep answering your questions, okay? So I hope that helps all of you. Remember, this can't substitute for medical advice, but hopefully it's some good common sense advice that's going to make a difference in your health. All right, I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.